Good morning. Today is July 25th, and you're listening to the greatest love story taken from Jeremiah chapter 31 and verse 3, where God said, I have loved thee with an everlasting love. This morning is going to be one of the most important programs that we have brought to you. The most important, of course, being the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus Christ. But I would like to ask you to invite others within your household to join us this morning for our broadcast. And today I would like to talk about two couples and also an angel and a multitude. It's very, very important. And so Zacharias was nominated to go into the temple and to burn incense while the multitude stayed outside and they were expecting a sign from God. Zacharias goes into the temple and you're right there with him. And I want you to visualize this, to close your eyes and to visualize all the events that are about to transpire. So now with your eyes closed, you go inside the temple with Zacharias, and then suddenly there was the angel Gabriel that appears to Zacharias, and he tells him that he is going to be the father of John the Baptist. And Zacharias had been praying and praying that they would have a child, but at this point in time, he was questioning whether, in fact, that he would have a child. And this upset Gabriel somewhat, and so he struck Zacharias dumb so that he was unable to speak. And then when Zacharias goes outside where the multitudes are, he is unable to speak. And so then they surmise that he had had a vision. And so then after some time, Zacharias goes home. And you're walking alongside Zacharias. And then 6 months later, the angel Gabriel appears to Mary, and you're also present at that appearing. And you're not a stranger to Mary and not a stranger to Zacharias. They fully expect you to be with them, so it is not a surprise to them. And the angel Gabriel really had two messages to Mary. One of them was that her cousin Elizabeth was expecting a child that at this time was 6 months pregnant, and that she needed Mary to come and take care of her. But then also the angel Gabriel announced that Mary herself would come with child, and that child would be Jesus Christ, that he would be called Jesus, and that he would be called the Son of God. And then you offer to go with Mary because the journey from Nazareth to Judea was a very, very long journey. It is not like about 10 or 15 miles up the road, but rather that journey was going to take 90 miles to reach from Nazareth all the way to Judea. And so the two of you decide that it is too far to walk, and so you take donkeys to make that trip. But even still, it is going to take several days to reach the destination. And so you tell Mary that you're going to put together a backpack that you'll all need, some food, some clothing, and other things that you would need along the journey. And so then the two of you strike out headed for Judea with Mary in line to take care of her first cousin, Elizabeth. Now, going down the line, the lineage line, that would make John the Baptist Jesus's third cousin. Elizabeth would have been the first cousin to Mary, that would be your second cousin, and John the Baptist would be your third cousin. So anyway, you strike out and you go so far, and then you need to take a rest. And so you tell Mary that is now expecting child with Jesus that we need to take a rest and you need to take care of yourself. And so several days pass by, and then you reach Judea. Now, Judea was a mountainous region, and so it was a little bit difficult for Mary to travel that distance. But then you reach Elizabeth's home, and she welcomes the two of you, and you take care of some of the household chores. And then Mary is directly involved in taking care of Elizabeth for the next 3 months, because at that point she was 6 months along in her pregnancy. And so then Elizabeth does have child, and then Mary makes her way back home, and you're with her for every step of the way. But by this point in time, Mary is 3 months along in her pregnancy. And so coming down from the hill valley, you need to be especially careful. But as time goes by, then you reach Mary's home. But then Joseph sees Mary, and she is 3 months along in her pregnancy. And so Mary was that far along, and Joseph is thinking that she had a relationship with another man, but he did not want to put her away publicly. He wanted to put her away privately. And while he thought on these things, an angel of the Lord appeared unto him in a dream, saying, "Fear not to take Mary unto that wife, because that which is in her is of the Holy Spirit." And so then Joseph did as the angel had bidden him. And then remember that Mary was already far along in the pregnancy, and she would give birth to the Son, Jesus Christ. And as we think about Mary giving birth to Jesus Christ, she already knew who he was because of the angel Gabriel appearing to her. And so she took those things in, and so very often she would ponder those things in her heart. And then also, there's something else about Mary that I shared with you on Mother's Day, but I'd like to share it with you again today, because we have some new listeners, and perhaps some may have missed this very, very important point, but I would like to bring it out again. And that is that Mary was of the direct lineage of Adam. Now, in the book of Matthew, the first chapter, you find that Jacob is the father of Joseph. But when you read in Luke's account, Luke chapter 3, it indicates that Gehi is the father of Joseph. But under the law of Moses, when a man married a woman, then he became the son of his father-in-law. But in reality, Gehi was the father of Mary, who was of the tribe of Judah. And out of Judah would come forth the king of the Jews. And that was why King Herod was so afraid of Jesus, is that Jesus was royalty in every sense of the word. Now, the lineage of Joseph would have traced back to Adam and Eve. It gave 14 generations, and another 14 generations to go back to David. And you and I know that it would eventually lead back to Adam and Eve. But I'm so thankful that the writer of Luke actually carried it all the way back to Adam and Eve, because sometimes women are mistreated. And in this particular case, it was traced all the way back from Gehi, who was her father, all the way back to Adam and Eve. And then also remember that Eve had a sister that was with her at the cross of Jesus when he was nailed to the cross. So Mary played a very, very important role in the raising of Jesus Christ. And then next Sunday, we're going to take an even deeper look into Jesus Christ. And I'm going to ask the question today: why was it that Zacharias and Elizabeth, and then Mary and Joseph, were the parents of John the Baptist and also of Jesus Christ? And so we're going to be answering that question. It's a very, very important question. But I would like to thank each and every one of you for tuning in this morning. And also, I would like to thank Randall and Deborah for doing such a wonderful job in carrying forth our radio program. And not only do I keep up with their religious programming on Sundays, but I do a lot of missionary work online. And so I listen to the radio station at WACQ, and it plays in the background while I get a lot of my work done. And so I want to encourage you to listen to Randall and Deborah. And each time that I talk to them, they are very, very busy. And the reason they're busy is because of their great love for their listeners. So please know that they put you first and foremost. You mean so much to them. They love you so very, very much. And I just thoroughly enjoy listening to them. I hear my favorite artists, and then also I'm able to keep up with local and current events. And so it is really a godsend to me. And then also, we need a balance in our daily lives so that not only do we find times for things that are serious, but times of things that will bring a balance to our lives and bring joy to our hearts. And I must confess that I do enjoy singing along with my favorite artists. And I mentioned last week about Deborah's books, and she has 6 books. And the only bone that I have to pick with her is that they're so good that I have to go from room to room reading those books. And my daughter and I, we would fight over those books until I finally got a set of her own. So now we're in good shape. But if you have an interest in the great American Indian heritage, which I think should be a part of the curriculum in schools, but if you have an interest, do please give Deborah a call at 334-283-6888, and she'll be more than happy to assist you in getting those books to you. So again, that phone number, 334-283-6888. And so until next week, take care and God bless.